and the household at 612.
Look at this dude. Compare him to the last guy. The last guy looked like he got an IT job. And he got him a fine black woman too. Ooh, hey. I fuck with bro. Who the hell is this? Her own parents did not show up to a court proceeding about what their daughter did to somebody else's daughter in conjunction with a couple of other kids. Couldn't be me, bro. Couldn't be me. I'ma be in jail because every time I see that little girl, the little boys, the parents of any of them kids, clotheslines from hell. Every time. I'm not even gonna shoot you. I want you to fear for your life, be looking over your shoulder all the time. I thought it was around. Now catch your ass. Man, fuck y'all and y'all car. Blow up the whole house. Send that bitch in the flames. Kane her shit, nigga. Kane her shit. You know exactly what I did. Yeah, Kane her shit.
Before notifying anyone else, she grabbed Coco's cage and pulled him out of the house first. She would later describe.
Fuck that rabbit! Fuck that rabbit! What are you talking about? Before notifying anybody else. Oh, let me get my bunny out of here. The fuck? Hell nah. Somebody else grab the rabbit. Or I'ma grab Granny. We gonna get the fuck out of here right now. Ain't no damn before I let anybody know that they might perish. Before I let anybody know they might see God tonight, I'm gonna get this bunny out the house first. The fuck? And welcome back to another video, man. BryceDaBadger back with another one for you. And tonight, wherever you at, I got Disturbing Things from Our World, Volume 67 by Fright Factory. If you don't know, now you know now. And I'm gonna go ahead and give a disclaimer. Might be some fucked up things happening in this video. If you're squeamish, you don't like hearing about, I don't know, possible child M-word murder, abuse, things of that nature, go ahead and click off the video. All right, I got a ton of other videos you can watch though. Go do that. Like the video, subscribe if you fuck with the vibe. I'm gonna catch y'all over there on the other side, man. Let's do it.
The footage you're looking at was taken at an Illinois middle school in the 90s, and not even 3 weeks after this, the young girl playing the guitar would experience something extremely dark, and it wasn't until a while after, when people started going through her diary entries, that a highly disturbing connection was made. In this video, I'm going to be discussing a series of disturbing things with a focus on lesser known cases, because if you're anything like me, you've probably heard most of them already. So, I'll tell you everything, but as usual, let's get into the backstories first.
Let's get into it. Hold on, y'all. I'm looking at my schedule for work. I'm paying attention, though.
The 13-year-old girl that you're looking at is named Rachel Skemp. She was a 7th grade honors student at Ward Middle School in Illinois, and those who knew her described a very bright kid with warm energy. She loved science, writing, playing guitar, and listening to Alanis Morissette. She wanted to grow up and be a teacher, and she was very passionate about school. She had her whole life ahead of her, and by every account, was a very good person to be around. Unfortunately, Rachel's family was far from simple. Her biological parents, Jeff and Amy, had married in the early 80s, but divorced when Rachel was around 3 years old, and Jeff eventually relocated to Dallas, Texas. Amy went on to marry a man named Vincent Mellon, and the household at 612.
Look at this dude. Compare him to the last guy. The last guy looked like he got an IT job. And he got him a fine black woman too. Ooh, hey. I fuck with bro. Who the hell is this? Man, hell nah, bro. What type of pics are you making, bro? You went from this to this. This nigga to this meth fiend. What the fuck are we talking about, bro?
2 Melissa Drive became Rachel, her mother, her stepfather Vincent, and her 2 younger half-siblings Jason and Ashley. On paper, it looked like a normal blended family in a quiet Illinois suburb. But like with many things, it's not that simple, and behind closed doors, things were deeply troubled. Vincent was unemployed and had quite a temper. In 1993, Amy filed a domestic incident report.
Nigga ain't had no job either, bro. Just a meth, just bro. I don't even know what button to hit. I'm gonna hit this one because I ain't even had to look at the nigga, and I already knew. If you know, you know. If you see, you see. You know what I'm saying? If you know how to do math, 2 plus 2, yes, this is 5, nigga. 2 plus 2 should get you to 4. Somehow she got to marriage. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it, bro.
Alleging that Vincent had struck her, shoving her down a flight of stairs in front of the children in the process, and that he was very verbally rough to Rachel specifically. Despite these red flags, the family stayed together. But it horribly just gets a lot worse than this. What nobody on the outside knew at the time, and what wouldn't surface for years, is that Rachel had been keeping a diary. And the contents of this diary would eventually paint an even worse picture of what was going on in the home.
I'm gonna tell y'all again, if y'all can't stand that CSAM, that all that stuff, leave. Because I can tell you now, that's what this nigga did.
Because it wasn't just verbal, but we'll get to that shortly. First, I want to get to the morning of January 31st, 1996, when Rachel reportedly stayed home from school with a sore throat. Her mother left for work, her younger siblings went to school, and 13-year-old Rachel was left alone in the house with the one person she had every reason to fear.
Fuck!
January 31st, 1996 was brutally cold, even by Illinois standards. Temperatures sat around 0 degrees Fahrenheit, or negative 17 Celsius, with the wind chill pushing that to as low as negative 20.
Damn.
According to Vincent Mellon's account, he and Rachel spent part of the day playing video games together. And then at around 11 in the morning, Rachel made a phone call to her paternal grandmother, Lucy, down in Dallas, thanking her for some Christmas presents. This call lasted about 4 or 5 minutes and seemed normal at first, but Lucy would later tell investigators that Rachel suddenly went very quiet partway through the conversation. When Lucy asked if Vincent was there, Rachel said yes and quickly ended the call. And her biological father, Jeff, would later point out that this call was unusual even in itself, because Rachel was not normally allowed to contact his side of the family. As the early afternoon went on...
Fuck you mean allowed? She came out of my balls. What the fuck? You ain't finna stop nobody from contacting anybody, bitch ass nigga. Who the fuck is you?
Vincent claimed Rachel went to her bedroom to take a nap and wrapped herself up in a blue blanket. He then said he left the house to walk the family's German Shepherd, leaving the front door unlocked. He was gone for roughly 30 minutes, and when he returned, he said Rachel was no longer in her room. When half-siblings Jason and Ashley got home from school at around 3:15, 6-year-old Ashley noticed her older sister wasn't in the bedroom, but she didn't mention it. Both of these kids would later tell investigators that Vincent was in the garage when they arrived. When Amy Mellon got home from work around 4 or 5:30 that evening and realized that Rachel was missing, she called the police, but this was around 6 p.m. Police arrived and realized quickly that when they were looking through Rachel's belongings, her winter coat was still there. So were her shoes, her purse, her money, and her Walkman. The only things actually missing were Rachel herself, that blue blanket, and 2 pillows from her bed. She was last seen wearing a pink sweatshirt, yellow sweatpants, and a
He smothered her to death, buried her body, and hid the pillow somewhere.
pair of red house slippers in
Pre-fire.
-20 wind chill.
Pre-fire.
I think it's safe to say that no child walks out of a house voluntarily dressed like that.
I'm telling y'all, I should be an investigator.
They were forced to. Because Rachel had briefly run away once before in the warmer months of 1995, so over a year earlier, where she spent about 12 hours sleeping outside a friend's house before being picked up, the police made a decision that would haunt this case for decades.
What?
They classified her disappearance as a runaway.
So we're going to classify the disappearance as a runaway instead of going over to the friend's house to actually see if she's over there. Let's check that first before we classify it as a runaway. How about that?
And didn't begin actively investigating until the following morning. That delay in this type of weather gave hours of time that can never be recovered. And when officers finally did examine the scene more closely, they noticed scratches on Vincent Mellon's body, which he attributed to working on his car.
Did the car scratch you, bitch ass nigga? What the fuck are you talking about?
But according to Jeff Scamp, police never searched the attached garage, and they never looked inside the trunk of a vehicle Vincent had supposedly been working on. Jeff has said publicly for years that he believes his daughter would have been found right then and there if they had. Because
shout out Jeff, bro.
Absolutely nobody could find Rachel Scamp.
Unless Jeff ain't end up
The
beating the
investigation
dog shit out of
expanded over time.
Vincent.
Jeff's home in Dallas was even searched, and relatives in Mississippi were checked. Investigators even explored whether Amy's family had taken Rachel back to the Philippines, because she was half Filipino. But nothing came of any of this. Then, in what has been reported as March of 2000, so years later, investigators recovered Rachel's diary. And in this, they realized some things. An entry dated August 7th, 1995, described Vincent kissing Rachel and touching her inappropriately. He had apparently warned her about predators while doing this and simultaneously telling her that it shouldn't happen until she was older. This discovery prompted police to reopen the case as a first-degree murder investigation. And in January of 2000, Vincent was brought in and interrogated for 9 hours. Authorities obtained a search warrant for blood, saliva, and hair samples, and on February 2nd, both Vincent and Amy were subpoenaed before a Will County grand jury. Vincent invoked his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination repeatedly. Amy maintained that someone had kidnapped her daughter and that unnamed people knew where Rachel was. Vincent had already failed polygraph examinations related to the disappearance, and the grand jury ultimately concluded without returning any indictments, and no charges have ever been filed.
Everybody involved in this case is retarded.
It's also worth noting that a police officer who helped coordinate those grand jury proceedings was a sergeant named Drew Peterson. He was
Why is he a sergeant? And the first thing I see is this nigga in orange jumpsuits. Hello? Drew Walter Peterson is an American convicted murderer first and former Bolingbrook, Illinois police sergeant who was found guilty in 2012 of the murder of his third wife.
later become nationally infamous when his own fourth wife vanished in 2007, and he was convicted of murdering his third wife. Of course, this connection says more about him and the department's culture than it does about Rachel's specific case, but this is a detail that shouldn't go unmentioned.
Not get away, but he killed somebody and then killed another.
As of January 2026, it has been 30 years since Rachel disappeared, and there is still no resolution.
Man, Vincent killed that little girl, man. Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Vincent Mellon, who has accumulated a criminal record over the years that includes multiple domestic battery charges, DUI arrests, and theft, has not been further pursued in connection to what happened to his stepdaughter, despite all of this. He and Amy eventually left the area and relocated to Tennessee, before Vincent eventually returned to the Chicagoland area at some point. The case is formally classified as a homicide and remains open, and has a $10,000 reward offered through Crime Stoppers for information leading
Amy, are you retarded?
to charges. In January of 2026, for the 30th anniversary, Rachel's childhood best friend, Carrie, spoke out once again and challenged this narrative that had been accepted for 3 decades, telling NBC Chicago that the claim Rachel stayed home sick never made sense to her because Rachel loved being at school. And if that's true and Rachel didn't voluntarily stay home that day, then the question of why she was kept there becomes, well, very disturbing. Jeff Skemp, Rachel's biological father, has kept his phone number listed for 30 years in the hope that his daughter might one day try to reach him. He's publicly accepted the likelihood that she's no longer alive, but he has never stopped looking. This is a case where the evidence points in one direction so obviously that it almost feels insulting to the people who loved Rachel.
Thanks.
In my opinion, the system absolutely failed this young girl. She kept a diary that documented her own abuse, and she vanished from a place where the only other person present was the man that she wrote about. I think this girl deserves so much better, and the very least I can do is just make sure that her name isn't forgotten. Rest in peace.
And rest in piss, Vincent. Boy, if I'm Jeff, I'm beating the dog shit out of Vincent. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Even your dumbass story don't even make sense enough to me as her biological father. Why the fuck are you leaving this little girl in here for 30 minutes with the door unlocked to go walk some fuck-ass dogs? Man, fuck them dogs, nigga. It's snow outside. Them motherfuckers can sit and chill with the rest of us. Nah, I'm gonna go outside and leave the door unlocked for 30 minutes. What type of dumbass are you on? The tragic story of Amari Jones. Or Amory Jones, but I know it's Amari because she's black. Look at the name.
So I'm immediately going to give you guys a heads up here. I believe this to probably be the worst case I've ever covered on this channel, at least recently.
Hey, that's a lot, because this all this nigga do. I'm gonna give another disclaimer. If you not with any of that shit, bro, any of the diabolical activity, Yeah, I made a word, diabolicativity. If you not with that, bro, back away. Back away.
I mentioned how cases are up there sometimes, but this is different, and
What
you'll
the
see why.
fuck?
I came across this a couple months ago, but I really wanted to wait a bit and see if anything came of it, as I try to stay away from breaking stories.
I can't tell what short.
And it seems we have
Wait. No, I can't tell what city this is. It's on the shore. It's on the coast. Some coast, but I don't know where.
some updates, so I'm going to touch on it. I know the mother wants justice. She told reporters that she wants her daughter's story to be told, and I feel like getting this to a larger audience is a key part in that. The 5-year-old girl you're looking at is named Amari Jones. She's from Cleveland, Ohio, and by all accounts from her mother, she's one of the most energetic and joyful kids you'll ever meet. She's very, very affectionate, and she's so funny and proper for her age that her mother said she'd literally just crack you up. So on Saturday, September 13th, 2025, Amari's mother and Tavia needed to undergo a medical procedure. She dropped her daughter off at a family member's home near East 145th and St. Clair Avenue in Cleveland's Collinwood neighborhood. She was going into a procedure, but other than that, it should have just been a simple, uneventful afternoon. Then
Right.
Amari would stay with family until her mom was finished, and then mom would go pick her up.
Right,
At some
right.
point while she was in the relative's care, Amari walked out the front door of the home without anyone noticing.
Right.
I don't know how this happened, but it happened, and according to Antavia, at some point while she was outside, a small group of people from the neighborhood came across her daughter, and they came off as friendly. But this very, very quickly got very, very bad. This group took the 5-year-old by the hand and walked her to a wooded field in the 1000 block of East 148th Street. Pretty quickly, the babysitter realized that Amari was gone, so she called 911 immediately, and a desperate search began, but this was already too late. In the process, 2 of the 3 people who had taken her were found, but they denied knowing anything about where she was initially.
Show
It
them.
wasn't until one of their own mothers intervened and forced them to reveal what had happened that
Show
everyone
them.
was led back to that field. And when first responders arrived, they found Amari in the fetal position. She was unclothed, unconscious, and covered in dirt. She had been beaten, strangled with her own clothing, and sexually assaulted. She had been scalped, and there's more details. It's really bad. She was rushed to the hospital by EMS, clinging to life. Amari would spend roughly a week in that hospital, and when Antavia first laid eyes on her daughter, she said that what she saw was unbelievable, like the child laying in front of her was not the daughter she recognized. When Amari finally regained consciousness, the first words out of her mouth were devastating. She screamed that they had killed her, meaning this 5-year-old girl genuinely believed that she had passed away. In the weeks and months that followed, Amari's personality began to shift in ways that broke her mother's heart even more. This once bubbly and happy child had started making violent and deeply troubling statements she had never heard before. She was placed into therapy through a local crisis service program, but her mother has been open to the fact that it's going to be a long and painful road. Antavia also told one Cleveland news station that what was done to her daughter was inhumane, and that watching how much her little girl has changed since that day has been one of the hardest things she's ever endured.
Okay, I know he gonna get into it. But like, were there any cameras? This happened last year, September last year. Were there any cameras? I know there had to have been cameras.
Now here's where this story takes what I think is the most chilling turn, and it's the detail that made this case.
Nigga, if what I see at the bottom of my screen is correct, then you absolutely correct. Cause who the fuck? Who is raising these kids?
National news almost overnight, even though it really wasn't spoken about all that much. On October 15th, 2025, roughly 1 month after the attack, the prosecutor's office announced charges against 2 suspects. And they were not teenagers, they weren't adults. The individuals charged with doing this to Amari Jones were a 9-year-old boy and a 10-year-old girl. There was another 8-year-old boy, but he was never charged. Each of them was hit with 9 felony counts, 1 count of attempted murder, 4 counts of rape, 2 counts of felonious assault, 1 count of kidnapping, and 1 count of strangulation. These are some of the most serious charges that can be filed in the state of Ohio, and they were being leveled against children who were not even 10 years old. The prosecutor's office released a brief statement confirming that they were receiving information and evidence, but declined to comment any further given the sensitive nature of the case. Antavia's social media posts about what had happened to her daughter were shared over 130,000 times, and a GoFundMe campaign she launched to cover Amari's medical and legal expenses raised over $160,000. The court proceedings that followed only deepened the weight of the case when the 10-year-old girl appeared before Judge Kristen Sweeney, which I believe was on November 5th. She's wearing a face mask and a pink coat, and she didn't speak. Her parents did not show up, and her public defender entered a denial on her behalf, which is the juvenile equivalent of
the parents didn't show up. So I'm assuming that this little girl's hands, this is the 10-year-old's hands right here that we talking about, because he said the pink coat. So she came in here with a face mask so that you don't know what she looked like, and she wearing a pink coat. But the biggest part is that her own fucking parents didn't show up. Her own parents did not show up to a court proceeding about what their daughter did to somebody else's daughter, in conjunction with a couple of other kids. Couldn't be me, bro. Couldn't be me. I'm gonna be in jail because every time I see that little girl, the little boys, the parents of any of them kids, clotheslines from hell. Every time. I'm not even gonna shoot you. I want you to fear for your life, be looking over your shoulder all the time. I thought it was around. Now catch your ass. Clothesline from hell, JBL shit. I'm trying to take your head off on some Raikage shit, nigga. Lariat.
a not guilty plea. They immediately requested a competency evaluation, arguing that there were serious questions about whether a child this young could even understand the charges against her. The judge granted this and ordered,
what the fuck does it matter if she understand the charges or not? She understood what the hell she was doing at that time when she was fucking damn near killing this little girl. I don't give a good googly moogly about if she can understand her charges. Take them bitches. Fuck is we talking about? Put her ass in timeout till she can get in the juvie system.
home detention with an electric ankle monitor.
Home detention? I said put her in timeout until she can go to juvie.
The 9-year-old boy, meanwhile, failed to appear entirely that day, with his family citing car trouble.
Man, fuck y'all and y'all car. Blow up the whole house. Send that bitch in the flames. Cane her shit, nigga. Cane her shit. You know exactly what I did. Yeah, cane her shit.
He showed up over a week later on
Like Trey be saying, the flames, nigga, the flames. Give them all to it. Every bit of it. Ooh, bruh.
November 13th, accompanied by 2 adults whose relationship to him the court couldn't even verify. It came out during a subsequent hearing that the boy's mother was hospitalized and his father was deceased, and due to an inability to confirm a legal guardian combined with ongoing threats against his family, the judge placed him in emergency custody. Throughout every single hearing,
all right, emergency custody. Bring that little bastard to the court. Bring that little fucker to court.
Tavia was present and vocal. She told the court directly that this kind of behavior does not deserve grace, that these children knew exactly what they were doing,
Yep.
and that the environment that produced this kind of violence clearly started in the home.
Yep.
As of early 2026, both defendants are awaiting
That's exactly why them fuck-ass parents ain't want to come up in there.
Has been set. Under Ohio's juvenile law, neither child can be tried as an adult since that requires a minimum age of 14. For Tavia, a mother who just wanted her daughter to have a safe afternoon while she went to a medical appointment, this fight for accountability and justice is far from over, and my heart is with Amari and Tavia and the whole family.
Burn everybody's house down. With them in it. 2025 Thanksgiving house fire. I didn't watch this video. I promise you I ain't watched this video. Hey. Hey, and September comes before November, nigga. Set them motherfuckers' house on fire, boy. When all the family over there. Yeah, Thanksgiving. Yeah, y'all have fun. Y'all have fun. While I cut y'all gas line real quick. You know what I'm saying?
The story begins with a woman named Erlene Rivera. She lives in a home in the state of Georgia, just northeast of Atlanta, alongside her sister and her 92-year-old mother. On the morning of November 28th, 2025, something happened inside their home that none of them saw coming, and if it hadn't been for a decision that this family made years earlier, this wouldn't have happened the way it happened.
Really?
When the Rivera family first purchased the Woodacres Road property and started doing renovations on the house, they discovered a baby rabbit living underneath it. Instead of shooing this animal away or calling someone to deal with it, the Riveras decided to do something different. They instead took the little guy and raised him as their own. They named him Coco, set up a cage for him in the kitchen, and over time he just became part of daily life.
So Coco
Didn't
survived.
really do that much. I'm not trying to hate on rabbits. I think they're very cute. But like compared to other animals, they're not particularly remarkable in their behavior, and Coco was no different. He was just a calm Snow White rabbit who lived a pretty uneventful existence.
They're animals to be preyed on, so.
And Riveras loved him for exactly what he was. On Thursday, November 27th.
Don't ask me why. I thought that was a cooked rabbit. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know where I got that thought process from. I'm sorry, y'all.
2025, the Riveras spent Thanksgiving together. They spent time with each other at the home, enjoyed the holiday, and eventually made their way out to the wooden back deck as the evening calmed down. At some point during the night, they lit a warming fire inside a metal barrel to keep comfortable while they sat outside, which
Normal
was a pretty
shit.
standard thing to do and nothing out of the ordinary.
Yep.
When the night was over and everyone was ready to turn in, the family extinguished the fire and headed inside. They got settled, said their goodnights, and fell asleep. But sometime in the early hours of Friday morning, those embers came back to life. The fire inside the barrel reignited on its own, and because this barrel was sitting directly on that wooden deck, the flames somehow started to spread. They caught the deck first, then climbed up to the back exterior of the house, and eventually started pushing their way inside, right into the kitchen where Coco was. By this point, the home was filling with smoke, and every single person in that house was still sound asleep.
How'd it catch fire? Huh? It caught fire. It didn't catch fire while they were standing there doing nothing to it, but it caught fire again and then spread while it was still in the same position that it was previous when everybody was standing around it getting warm.
Remember, this home also has a 92-year-old woman upstairs, and it's actively on fire.
I would never keep a woman that elderly upstairs. What are we doing? Let alone her having to walk down the stairs and up the stairs and shit. But like, if something like this were to happen, I need you to get the fuck out of here fast as hell, bruh. I need to be able to come get you, pick you up, and sit you outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't go up the stairs. Come on, Mom. I'ma fall, bust my ass. Now we both dead, burned to death, crisp. You know what I'm saying?
He knows about this. So Coco's cage was right there in the kitchen, directly in the path of the advancing flames. And as the heat and smoke reached that part of the house, Coco started doing something his family had never really seen from him before. He began slamming his hind legs against the floor of the cage over and over again, producing a rapid, loud, and violent thumping sound that carried just enough through the house.
Fire!
This is something rabbits do instinctively.
Sorry. I say that. I say it. No, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean...
Instinctively when they sense a threat, but Erlene later told reporters that she'd never once witnessed Coco behave this way in all the time that they'd had him. Like, he was really throwing himself around the cage. It was enough that it was impossible to sleep through.
Because that nigga knows.
This sound is what pulled Erlene out of sleep and sent her downstairs.
Fire.
When she reached the kitchen, she of course found her home on fire. And by this point, visibility was almost completely gone. Before notifying anyone else, she grabbed Coco's cage and pulled him out of the house first. She would later describe...
Fuck that rabbit! Fuck that rabbit! What are you talking about? Before notifying anybody else! Oh, let me get my bunny out of here! The fuck? Hell no! Somebody else grab the rabbit, or I'ma grab Granny. We gonna get the fuck out of here right now. Ain't no damn before I let anybody know that they might perish. Before I let anybody know they might see God tonight, I'm gonna get this bunny out the house first. The fuck? Yo, nah, bruh. What the fuck are we talking about? I can't even find my headphones. What the fuck are we talking about? Man, hey, bro. That lady crazy as hell, ain't it?
Described the scene as insane, saying she could not see through the smoke at all. So by this point, it was very much developing.
So if she could, I'm gonna assume that she couldn't see through the smoke, so she didn't even know which door to go in. She ain't know where the doors were. All she could see was what was in front of her, and it was that bunny. That's the story I'm gonna go with, because otherwise that made no sense.
Coco outside, she quickly went back in, woke her sister, and then got her 92-year-old mother. County firefighters arrived shortly after, and when everything was said and done, all 3 family members and Coco had made it out without a single injury. I saw headlines about this, and it's honestly just remarkable to think that a rabbit saved a family
Yeah, that
from
is fire, though.
possibly burning alive. A fire chief did confirm that the blaze originated from those embers on the deck, noting that the family had believed it was fully extinguished before going to bed. I mean, really, what else can you do? The flames caused significant damage to the rear of the home and tore through a large portion of the kitchen, which is exactly where Coco was sitting in his cage, but thankfully he was loud enough, and when she spoke to reporters afterwards, Arlene called Coco the family's little guardian angel. This is a rabbit that the Rivera family found abandoned underneath their house when they first moved in. They didn't have to take him. There's a good chance he would have no longer been alive by the point that this happened,
Right.
and he returned the favor in the end. I know it's a short one and it's pretty straightforward, but I had to end it on a good note.
I'm about
Those
to
first
say-
2 were just very, very bad.
Horrid. Great video though, man. Great video. Always interesting to see what happens in the world that we might not know about. The demons, the straight creatures that exist among us, bro. But speaking of creatures, shout out to that rabbit, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. If you like the video, man, like the video. Subscribe if you fuck with the vibe. And I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one, bro. Peace.